Haha! Good morning from the world's smallest kitchen with cake. I'm not keeping this. So we're down in Florida for spring break for my younger two children. And, you know, it's interesting. My older son this morning is taking the SAT. And, sorry, just doing a little cleaning up my parents' house, so we like trash everything all the time. He called last night and said, yeah, you know, I said, when's the SAT? He said, it's tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I hope you do well on it. And there's such a line of supporting and encouraging, and then this other line of you have to be the best, you have to do the best, right? I find it tricky, and part of our family that is really different is that we have a little person with special needs. Amos has a genetic disorder and autism, and then I have 3 typical children, and so learning from the littlest one and applying it to the biggest ones has really been an opportunity gifted to me that I have really appreciated. I was raised kind of not in a bad way, but I was raised to think of success as you just work your fanny off and you get an education and then you have a career, right? And like that was it. No real other option of success. And that's what I did. That's what I did. And it worked. Went to high school, went to college, got my master's, got my PhD, worked as a researcher, taught at NC State, took 10 years off really to raise children, and then kind of started back on this strange blog journey. But the college stuff is a lot of pressure and a lot of money. I'm not loving it as a parent. Yeah, I found that it was starting to stress me out more than I liked. And so this kind of talking and thinking about it, I think is helpful. But then I have Amos, who's little, and like yesterday, he did a backflip in the pool. And I felt like you had just said to me, Amos was just accepted to medical school at Harvard, like a backflip in the pool. How did he's 9.5. And I was so proud of him. And then Thomas calls and is talking to me about this SAT. And whether we want, whether we think, you know, love is tied to some score, we know it's not. But at the same point, these scores have to happen for certain things. So one thing my son Thomas wants to do is go to the Air Force Academy. Well, to get into the Air Force Academy, oh, welcome, Caroline. To get into the Air Force Academy, you have to have a certain score on your ACT or SAT. Period. That's it. And trying to validate and acknowledge what he wants, but also being realistic about if he doesn't get that score, should he apply? And boy, what a hard conversation that is to have. And we have not had it, though we've kind of discussed it inadvertently. Is that the right word? Probably not. Never said I didn't break 1,000 on the SAT, so you're not exactly hitting the world's smartest person. But I really was. I was like, okay, Amos is doing flips in this pool, and then I have this son who wants to go to the Air Force Academy. I mean, talk about very different paths that they're both on, but equally valuable. And I think I need to figure out a way to really talk to my oldest son about that, because he knows, but it's worth a mention. You can always apply. Yeah, you can apply. Yes. But I think it's also okay to be realistic with your children about what their choices are and how their work relates to their choices and how their choices relate to their life, right? So you have this like trifecta. So you have, and then you have ability. So you have ability, work ethic, you have choices, and then you have life. And you can pick, like, do you want to be, what? Honey, we're leaving at 11. It's 10:19. You haven't gotten ready. You've been in that sweatshirt for 2 days. You want to, what life do you want to have? What are your choices? Where do you want to live? What do you want to do? Do you, honey, what are you doing? She can't leave me alone. It's a sickness. A horrible, you do not need a sun kiss. Get in the house. Play wherever you wish to attend. Make the school tell him no thanks. Yeah, see, I don't agree, Allison. I absolutely do not agree. And I'll tell you why. One, because I have this amazing college counselor named Mr. Q at his school. And two, I think that is silly. He's not going to get into, let's say, UVA, right? Because a white boy from North Carolina, there are only 180 of them that get into UVA every year out of 40,000. Thomas's 3.7 GPA is awesome, but it ain't getting into UPA. And almost a perfect SAT score you're not getting into. So I don't agree with you. I don't. And I think I also really value our college counselor. She needs your attention. My 13-year-old, oh my God, and this is like being in hell, does not need my attention. We have just watched a movie. We have played Yahtzee. I didn't make breakfast. I picked up breakfast. We are getting ready to take the metro to the mall. She does not need my attention every second. This is not a newborn that needs to suckle at my breast. No, it's not. And Facebook, do not punish me for talking about breastfeeding. I can't take it. Y'all make me crazy. Now I've lost my train of thought. Darn it. Oh, but Mr. Q was like, I said, does Thomas have a chance? Like, is he going to be, he wants to go to Carolina State, the Air Force Academy. Can he get into the Air Force Academy? Should we apply? And he said, I think he's a solid candidate. Now, if you lived in Raleigh or Charlotte, maybe not. But I think where you live, yeah, I think he's a solid candidate. And these are the things we need to do. We need to get him in some more advanced classes next year. That's a great thing we can talk about. He's got to really push that GPA. We're going to really work on his, he's taken this SAT prep class. We need to see how high we can get a score up for that. And then when we do that, we're going to look and see where we are, right? Because Adrian got a 980 on the SAT. I legit applied to Carolina, and they never replied. And when I said to my dad, I applied to Carolina, and I didn't hear back. You know what my dad said? Maybe they thought it was a joke. And you know what I did? I laughed because I'm not a kitty cat. I mean, you should be able to have these real conversations with your children. Civic projects and volunteering are so important. So, Ellen, I have an opinion about this. Suddenly now I'm like filled with passion over this topic.
Where is Mary?
Mary's getting ready to go.
Is Mommy going to the mall?
Would you like to go on the Metro train this morning?
Yes.
And go to the Lego store?
Yes.
You want to? Want Sissy to help you pick out something to wear?
Yes.
Okay, Sissy, will you help him find
Would
something?
you like to go to the mall?
Would you like to go to the mall?
Yes.
Okay.
And ride on the metro train.
And ride on the Metro?
And go to the another metro train.
That's right.
We're going on another metro train.
Yes, we are.
The Gatwick monorail.
Well, we're not going to London. We're going to stay in Miami.
The Miami monorail.
That's right, the Miami monorail.
Not the Miami Metro Rail.
Miami Metro Rail.
No.
Yeah, yes. Or you can stay here with Mamie and DB.
Or
Do you want to go?
you can ride on another monorail in Miami.
Yeah. Would you like to ride the? We could maybe ride the bus. Do you want to ride the bus?
We can maybe ride the
What?
another Miami monorail.
Yes, Miami monorail.
It's not a metro rail.
It is the Metro Rail.
It's not a metro rail.
Let's go get dressed.
Oh, Sissy's going to help you so we can go.
It's another monorail.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
In Miami.
In Miami. So I think it's okay to be honest and forthcoming.
Hi there.
I was just telling them about when I applied to Carolina and said I never heard back. Do you remember what Dad said?
No.
He said maybe they thought it was a joke.
Well, somebody told me when you got in for your master's there.
I was Susan Airy
Yeah, she said, see if Adam and Jennifer are still on the list.
on the waiting list. On the waiting list. That's right. Comes with trying. My daughter applied to college we knew she would not get accepted to. She really wanted to go there. I let her apply, but she did not. But taught her to believe in herself. Yeah, Jenna, and I'm not saying that that's not a bad thing, and we do that in other ways. Thomas has applied for this summer program at the Air Force Academy, and very unlikely that he'll get in. But we talked about that. It's very unlikely you're going to get in, but let's apply and see. But I think I also value the time and effort that goes into applying to a college and wanting Thomas or Russell or Blair to use their time doing valuable things. I mean, yes, my children apply to things and don't get in, and I think that's wonderful. Just in this case, you know, if you look at who's getting into Harvard, ain't nobody in this house needs to apply to Harvard, you know? Oh, are you dressed that quickly?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Who will be at the door next? You just never know. This is spring break in Florida. You just saw my husband. Oh, well, he's in North Carolina. He's not on spring break. So anyway, that's just my opinion. In this case, is what we're doing. And maybe with the next child, I'll say the difference. Now, my next son really wants to play lacrosse. He's never played lacrosse. He's convinced he can just buy equipment and get good. Do I think this is possible? Yes. Do I think it's a far reach? Yes. Am I encouraging him? Yes. Does Thomas have a learning disability? No, not a learning disability. He was diagnosed with dyslexia when he was a little fella. And he recently had all his testing again, and she calls it residual dyslexia and orthographic processing. He's in the bushes.
Can I give him some candy from Switzerland?
No, he's not having any candy, and you need to have on pants.
Why? It's hot.
Well, we're wearing pants on the train. Or shorts. Oh, you have on shorts. Well, your sweatshirt was so long, I didn't think you had on any pants. Do not agree with SATs. Both my children are extremely bright and smart. They do not do well on large.
I agree. I don't like
Test.
standardized testing either. It's like anybody else.
It's a shame to see a kid struggle to get into college based on not having a tough score. Well, you don't have to submit your test scores. But I think if you have a pretty good GPA, really good test scores will help you get in, particularly to a state school like Carolina or State. I think if you don't, I mean, I'm no expert. Like, I've been into this college thing for 5 minutes. I'm just talking about what I've learned so far. And this is going to be something that I'm really talking a lot about. And I'm interested in learning. And at the same time, I'm talking to admissions people. I'm talking to guidance counselors. I'm talking to other parents. It's good to learn and be interested and understand. Does Thomas test verbally? Leanne is asking me a lot of questions with a lot of question marks. No, he does not, Leanne. Thomas gets some extra time on things. Where Thomas has struggle is like note taking. He's a really slow note taker. So he might get a copy of somebody else's notes just because he can't seem to listen and transcribe as quickly as necessary. Yes, we know that the SAT does not project your success in college. We all know this. Remember, I got a 980 on the SAT, and I have a PhD, and had a 4 perfect score, and never had to be in grad school at State or Carolina.
You got pee in the trees. That's fine.
You're going to pee in the trees? All right, you go ahead. Don't get pee-pee on your pants, though. She could see him. She's like standing in the palms, TTing. Anyway, I just think it's important for parents to be it's like we want our kids to be just, everything has to be amazing and perfect and wonderful. We want to lift them up. And I think that's wonderful. But I think it's also okay to be realistic. And I think it's okay to say this pinnacle is not the pinnacle of your life. Because see, we have Amos success, which is learning to not pee-pee in your pants. So the pinnacle for your life might be different, but that's okay. Not everybody is going to have a jet like me. And that doesn't mean like I'm not successful, right? It's just not my pinnacle. And I think being honest with your children about, hey, I know you want to go to Harvard, or like with me, Adrian wanted to go to medical school. And finally I had a professor in college say to me, you're not going to get into medical school with C's in science. I was like, well, I guess I got to switch over. That's not a bad thing. My daughter has orthographic processing dyslexia. I'd love to hear more about supports. Oh, well, Kimberly, reach out to me and let's chit chat.
That's a Maldivian long
I don't really know
plate.
much about it. That's a pretty like
Mommy,
new.
that's a Maldivian long plate.
That's a Maldivian log plate. Is that from the Maldives?
Yes, it is.
See, we have. Meanwhile, we have people that have very scattered smarts, and that's okay and great. So anyway, I just want to encourage people to be. The clock is in a perfect place to see what time it is. You're right. It's 10:30. We're getting ready to go get on a bus, and then we're going to take the metro to the mall.
We're gonna go get on a bus named the accordion bus.
You've been really wanting to go on an accordion bus. I know this. We have the ACT. He bombed it. Does the teacher teach for ACT? Thomas is taking an SAT, ACT prep class to try to get that score up. I had to take a prep class like that to get into graduate school because, again, I couldn't get over 1,000 and got my score up maybe 250 points. So it really does help. And, again, it's not your natural fortitude. It's just what you have to work to learn to do. And I have a junior son and a freshman son and then a 7th grade daughter and then a 2nd grader. But my older son was telling my next son, like, these are things I should have done differently. And I think, it's so useful to have somebody a little further ahead in the journey talk to you about it. Like if you have a friend who's had 3 kids go to college. I don't know if you should be standing up on that chair.
A reach.
It's a reach. Yeah, I think let's just leave it. Have you brushed your teeth?
No.
Okay. Where are your shoes? They're gone. An accordion bus is when you have 2 buses that hook together with an accordion in the middle. We've never gone on one, but we might today if we see one. Yeah, we mainly just, Amos's idea of spring break is a lot of public transportation. My whole life I went with no public transportation, and now I've become an expert.
Accordion bus.
Accordion bus. What does your shirt say?
Episcopal.
Episcopal. Is that where your brothers go to school?
Ta-da-da.
Amos, you're a funny duck. Anyway. That's all. That's all I got. Just thinking about my boy taking the SAT this morning, and stress is over the top when your family struggles financially too. Well, here's what I think, Jennifer, or not Jennifer. Here's what I think, Tammy. You can go to a community college for 2 years. Not that maybe everybody's dying to do that, but it doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you finish. Save some money and go. My son Thomas loves to save money, and I think honestly, if we really talked about it, he would probably choose that if he thought that maybe somebody would like trade him some money for going. But he also likes to work, and he wants to travel. So, I do think the community college aspect is not like a negative thing. Your parents have a trip on the offing. I don't know what that means. When I take a test, I get sick vomiting.
How are we getting to the monorail?
We're going to take the bus to the metro.
We're taking the bus to the metro, and then we're going to the mall. Ah!
Are you still on your thing?
Yeah, well, okay. You want to go with us?
No, I'm good.
I do ask too many questions. I'm just kidding, Leanne. I like all your question marks because my mother-in-law is always doing a bunch of success.
Oh! Ow!
Are you okay?
That hurt.
That did hurt. You bumped your elbow.
Ow!
Did Sissy kiss it? You're all right?
A tree cutter.
Oh, he is cutting the trees. Oh, you like that, huh? You can watch him.
Amen.
Oh, no, they don't have a trip going anywhere. He's going to watch him cut trees. That'll be fun. But he's going to cut the trees. You watch while he cuts, okay? No, he cuts. He's, 9 años. Yeah, Amos, that's his. He holds that while you watch. You sit in the chair and you can watch him. See, very sharp. Yes, very sharp. Carry on. See y'all later. Subscribers, if you want to know more about this, have more on this topic, become a subscriber. It's super fun. Super fun. Bye.